Speaking of short guys, Estrada, Deivi, Katie, I told you it's a small sample size, but I'm hungry to hear more about Deivi. I think he won over the hearts of Yankees Nation. Jake bought the same exact outfit he wore in his postgame because Jake wants to be just like him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mound presence and moxie. But what is he actually doing? Yesterday we saw him switch from the curve and go to the changeup and the slider because the curve wasn't really working. And it's things like that impress me, more, that he has the ability to switch in game. So I asked you some questions. I asked you, is he getting his first pitch strike? What pitch is he getting all of his strikeouts with, or his outs? What kind of contact is he inducing? So I don't know where you want to go with it, but what do we got on Deivi?
Yeah, everything you said is exactly true. Let's start off with those adjustments because that, to me, kind of was the biggest. That's something you don't often see with a 21-year-old. And especially a 21-year-old making his third career major league start. And that, to me, may be the first or second, most impressive thing about him. So you mentioned that in his third start, that was on Wednesday, that, he didn't really have that feel for his curveball early, so he went to his changeup, and he then mixed in some sliders late. And so I have some pretty interesting numbers to kind of back that up and just to kind of put it into perspective here. So he threw 16 changeups on Wednesday, and in his first two starts combined, he had only thrown 21. So that kind of really became his pitch against lefties. It was either a changeup or a fastball against lefties in this start, whereas in his first couple starts, it was changeup, curveball, fastball. He pretty much mixed them all against lefties. The other thing that was really impressive was that slider. We hadn't seen that slider in his first two starts. He threw 7 of those, and he threw 9 of them on Wednesday. And I think it was 6 of those 9 came in the final 3 innings. So he was really, and like I said, he didn't have that curveball. The curveball got, I think, 1 swing and miss the entire game. So he knew that he didn't have that. He just couldn't get them to swing. He couldn't locate it in the right places. So then he just went to his slider. And I like that slider because it's sort of that in-between pitch between the fastball and the curveball. It's in the 80s, whereas the curveball is the 70, the high 70s, and then the fastball, obviously, the low 90s. But for him to have command of 4 pitches like that, and the confidence to throw those pitches at any point in the game, that really shows, not only an ability to make adjustments, but like I was saying with Clint, that shows a real maturity in his pitching. And so I think that I want to see what else he can do. Maybe he doesn't have what happens when he doesn't have his fastball. What does he do then at that point? So I think this is definitely something to watch. But to me, that ability to make those adjustments and to have the confidence in those 4 pitches was really impressive from what I saw from him in his third start.
Yeah, the ability to change is cool, and he only throws his slider so far to right-handed hitters.
Yep.
And I believe, I'm looking at it, it's got a 60% whiff rate, tiny, small sample size, and maybe they just don't know it's coming. But that's cool. What's he getting beat on the most? He's given up a couple home runs, right? Is that all fastballs?
Yeah, I didn't check on what he's getting beat on, but the other thing that I really wanted to talk about, and this kind of relates to his fastballs, is the fact this is what I think might be the most important thing, is that he's able to be really aggressive with hitters and attack them in the zone, and that's where you see that command. You see the walk stat, the fact that he has walked 2 batters in, I think it's 17 and 2/3 innings, and those two walks came in one of the games. So he's had 2 walk-free games. And this is for a guy that, remember, he averaged 4.5 walks per 9 innings in the minors last year. And I put this stat out on Twitter, is that in his entire minor league career, he had 3 games with at least 6 innings pitched and 0 walks. And he's already had 2 of those in the major leagues so far. So in this command, I think what it really kind of where it manifests itself is the fact that he's able to attack hitters with his fastball in the zone. And because that fastball is so deceptive, we talked about that last week. And then he's able to combine that with these 3+ secondary pitches that he has command of, that he feels like he can throw in any count. And so that ability really to change those eye levels during the at-bat, that has been probably, I think, the driver of why he's been able to avoid all of these walks. And he's really able to control the at-bat is what I'm trying to get at by being so aggressive. And just some numbers to kind of to put that into perspective. Like you said, his first pitch strike percentage, 64%, I believe, which is above the major league average. He's throwing 28% of his pitches in the heart of the zone. So that's like that, not the middle, but just like really in the heart of the zone. And that's above the major league average. The catch there is that when hitters put that ball in play in the heart of the zone, they're hitting 226 with a 355 slugging percentage. Those are pitches that people should crush. The major league average is 313 batting average and 585 slugging percentage on pitches in the heart of the zone. And I think that really, why he's able to do that is because that fastball we talked about, it is so deceptive. It gets 3 inches of rise better above average compared to a major league fastball, which ranks, where do I have that rank? I think that's a 7th best in the majors right now.
Damn.
Wow. His fastball.
All right. Well,
rise.
this is very exciting. So I have to put some water on my excitement fire personally.
Okay. I'll bring it back up after.
Got to see him go through the rotate. Got to see him go through teams twice. That's my rule for all young pitchers, because this is a pitcher. He doesn't do Nestor Cortez, Johnny Cueto, deceptive Marcus Stroman, stop and starts, but he hides the fastball really well. So I got to imagine seeing him the second time, knowing where to pick it up and where to try to look for it. A hitter will have a little bit more of an edge. Not an edge, but Davey's got the edge right now because they have no
hitters like seeing pitchers more.
Yeah. And the walk stuff, it's actually scares me how little he's walking in comparison to what it used to be. It's so night and day that I feel like shoe's going to drop and we're going to see.
Well, we talked last week about how he moved his position on the mound.
Oh,
Jimmy doesn't fully believe in that, though.
No, I did when I did the crossover.
Okay, Jimmy did the crossover.
Yeah.
He fully believes.
So I'm bought in on that because I think that, I mean, the fact, what did we say it was like a 1.5 feet or something? That is a huge difference.
Yeah.
So I think that has to have had an impact. And just some kind of fun butter knife stats here. Some small sample stuff. You talked about him seeing guys more than once. Well, 3rd time through the order, 2 for 15, three strikeouts. That's a 133 batting average and a 188 on base percentage. So 3rd time through the order, he's getting it done. Just a couple other things. We talk about his poise with runners on base. They have a 179 batting average against him, a 233 on base percentage. And with runners in scoring position, they're 1 for 9. These are all just some fun, small sample stats. But it's just, I mean, you see it, though. You see his poise, you see his confidence, and it's showing up so far. So, I don't know. I'm psyched. I love watching him pitch. I mean, how can you not love watching this guy just get out there and just throw it down? He's perfect for this team, I think.
Yeah, I bought a newspaper today for maybe the first day in my life because it had Deivi on the back page, and I was like, I want that. If you really get in daydream mode, and if the Yankees can turn something around, and this team needed something, and was it a kind of magical 21-year-old that can do a lot of stuff on the mound? Maybe it'd be a nice party trick to bring along with also those big guys were hoping to get off the IL.